The highlight of the NVIDIA keynote for me was when CEO Jensen Huang quipped that if you bought an RTX 4090, that was probably the best investment you could make.
At the time.
Just consider all the entertainment happiness that it could give you.
Yeah.
But one small thing, Mr. Huang. When NVIDIA launched the RTX 4090, your stock price was about $11.50. So if someone had bought that instead of a 4090 as their investment, well, hey, good news, because they should be able to comfortably afford a 5090.
Damn, you could have turned $1,600 into $20,000? That's in 3 years? Holy shit. That's wild.
Or 10.
God damn.
As for everybody else, well, unfortunately,
that's what I did? How much did y'all make?
Happiness.
That's wild.
So you're going to be trading a truly princely sum for the privilege of experiencing their latest
$0?
and greatest. But affordability aside, this was
100K,
a heck of an
80K.
event. NVIDIA kicked it off with the most beautiful real-time rendered demo that I have ever seen, and then followed it up with a slew of new RTX Blackwell 50 series GPUs with brand new technologies like DLSS 4.0, DLSS Transformer, Neural Faces, and some of the GPUs even have prices that, taken at face value, might actually be kind of exciting.
I think that the 5070 price is extremely reasonable. And I think that we could see probably in the 70 series, I'm expecting to see price reductions for like the lowest end. And like, because I've always had the dream of being able to build a $1,000 PC and just sell it. I wanted to call it the big black box. And I just sell a black box of a PC that runs as well as I possibly can for $1,000. And if things are evolving in the way that I hope they will, I think that it'll be possible, but you're fighting against inflation as well. It might have to be 1,500, which is like, I think 1,500 is too much for it to be like, 1,000 is like, damn, that's awesome. Scalpers too, I'd buy one. Yeah, I feel like that'd be huge.
Claimed on stage that the 5070 will offer 4090 levels of performance.
That is crazy.
At $549.
But I mean, to be fair though, like if I'm misunderstanding, it's offering the level of that performance, but it's also doing that artificially through AI generation as well. It's not like you're getting a 4090. Yes, okay, that's what I thought. I just wanted to make sure.
Immediately followed that up with a huge red flag saying that this feat would be impossible without AI.
Sure.
So I was all like, sick, woo! And then I was all like,
probably want to see it.
Well, no sooner did I say that than some burly guys in green showed up and said, all right, you cynical tech-tipping son of a bitch, we're going to show it to you right now.
Yeah, let's see it.
But you got to do the thing. The thing, I said? Yeah, the thing. All right, the thing. The segue to our sponsor, Wicked Cushions. Give your headset a new lease on life with Wicked Cushions replacement ear pads. They offer impeccable comfort and more than a dozen awesome looks. Get your own Wicked Cushions using our link in the video description today.
It's kind of small.
We'll get to some of the AI and data center stuff.
One kidney, please. What?
I want to talk GeForce. And right now, we are behind the scenes getting the first ever hands-on with the RTX 5090.
Yeah.
Well, we aren't yet. Now we are. They didn't tell me I could touch it, but they can't stop me.
It's not that big.
Before we go deeper, there are a couple of things that stood out immediately from their sizzle video for this thing. I mean, yeah, there's the incredibly compact PCB with the state-of-the-art power delivery that enables a sick dual fan, dual slot cooler with pass-through for both of the fans.
I'm really glad that they're focusing on keeping the size to be conservative. Because for a while, I felt like my first graphics card that I ever got, it was like, I don't know, it was like maybe like this big, and it wasn't even this short, it was like maybe this big. Like, I bet actually, you know what, now that I think about it, it was smaller. It was a, God, I'm probably going to get this totally wrong. Radeon 4650. I think that was my first one ever. it was like somewhere like the mid 2000s. That was a card. Yeah, I don't know. And like now they're just gigantic.
That's right. Both of these fans are blowing right through the cart, but this, wow, thank you. No more need for fire-prone right-angle adapters to clean up your cable management and angled power connect.
That's also going to be really big. Like, I'm going to be honest, like a little kind of like this doesn't matter to anybody else except for like a company, is that like with Starforge, this makes like fitting this stuff in a lot fucking easier. Like way fucking easier. Because it's a smaller tool and there's like not as many like weird points of yeah, it's DIY. Exactly, right? Because I think also like making components for PCs more modular and easier to like replace and similar, I think that makes it to where more people can access PC building themselves. Like a lot of people, the way that they get into PC building is that they buy a PC and then they upgrade a PC and then they upgrade it a couple more times, then they build their next one, right? I feel like that's the gateway drug. That's what I did. How many of you guys, is that what you did? Yeah, for sure. And so like, this is a huge improvement. Or shit breaks. Well, for me, it was like, okay, I want to get more RAM. Okay, well, I don't have enough RAM. Or my motherboard can't handle the RAM. Okay, well, now I need to get a new power supply because if I get a new motherboard, the power supply can't handle it. And it's like, okay, well, now I've got to learn how to build a computer, right? And so, yeah, but that was like a multiple years after I had just upgraded a graphics card.
Okay, Linus, it has a nice cable, but what about the specs? Oh, I've got specs. Let me put it this way. If you have a 4090 right now, the 5090 is the GPU that she tells you not to worry about. In raw numbers, here's what that looks like.
It's a 2x better.
This is going to be one heck of an upgrade. I can't wait to see it in action.
Yeah, that's what I want to fucking see.
So why am I waiting? Let's do it.
Let's go.
Here, relegated to the floor like a common chicken, is the previous king, the RTX 4090. Why don't we start there?
That's where mine
NVIDIA
is.
Can't let me show you guys much prior to the performance embargo in a couple of weeks. We get one game, and only one game, and we can't change the settings. But I can't think of anything I'd want to change.
Can you show the
here.
settings?
Absolutely.
Yeah, because like, so they're going to show Cyberpunk? Thank you. Like, that's exactly what I want to see. So you've got...
Thing is cranked. And to their...
let me go back. Okay, 80 field of view. Yeah, I don't know why they have that. I'm just looking at it right here. Okay.
Absolutely everything is cranked.
It's on performance? Yeah,
and
yeah.
To their credit, they did load up frame view, so I won't be purely relying on feel to evaluate the difference.
Okay, let's see it.
Okay, so let's play on the 4090. Yep, that's a pretty powerful GPU still. And it's even more
That's
powerful.
about what I get, by the way. Whenever I played Cyberpunk, those were the numbers that I was hitting. I was at the 100 to 120 range. And like my monitor's 160, so I'm like under the performance standard. I know. I understand that it's on a 4090. I'm saying that my experience is similar to his on a 4090 as well.
Then you probably realize, before we move over to the 5090, this build of Cyberpunk has some new goodness baked into it, including NVIDIA's new transformer model and DLSS 4 frame rate. So the
this
results
to me
we're
is
getting,
crazy.
even on the 4090 here, are not going to be comparable to your system at home. This guy is performing a little better thanks to some of these changes.
Okay.
It's nice that it's getting the extra help because...
Is that 4K? Mine was 1440.
It's not close. Even without looking at the numbers, which are double, this is wickedly smooth. I still remember, I think it was on a short circuit or something. We were looking at a system from...
Fuck. All right, so I guess I have to buy a new monitor. Do you guys want to give me some help on like looking at a new monitor to buy? Because I can order like, so should I go to 240 or 300? Like, I could go 4K OLED. I don't want to do 4K. I don't think 4K is worth it. Yeah, maybe we look at it after this.
It was my first time playing Cyberpunk on the 4090 because I hosted the review and everything, but I never actually got to game on it. And I was like, oh my God. Yeah, it was a lot faster. And it's like, where are the polygons, you know? Where have my polys gone?
Good one.
Sure, the thing is
good one,
at
Linus.
$2,000 US, a 25% increase, and is rated at 575 watts, but for the first time in what feels like forever, at least we're getting more for the money. Like, this feels like a truly Halo tier product. The 512-bit memory bus, 5,000 more CUDA cores, and noticeably better performance. Like, I can't believe that this is Cyberpunk running at 4K with ray tracing.
They're not gonna have game capture, are they?
Can't believe it, because it isn't. FrameGen and AI-assisted ray tracing.
NVIDIA. Were they in the room when he said this? Uh-oh.
Tracing are doing a lot of heavy lifting. Here. Jensen gave us a bit of insight into this, telling us that out of the about 33 million pixels in his demo, only 2 million of them were calculated, with the rest extrapolated using AI. But, okay, I mean, it doesn't matter as long as it looks good, right? So,
true.
How good does it look? Well,
like, let me see, actually. This is probably not a very good test. Oh, shit.
Show it, right?
Let me just see. Yeah, I can't really tell because it could be the camera or it could be the recording. You'd have to have it recorded locally on the PC to get an idea of like what the frame ghosting is or anything like that. It's really hard to say. Looks blurry. Yeah, but why does it look blurry? It could have. We didn't see the option for motion blur on. Okay.
How good does it look? Well, I'm supposed to be just showing this off. What I've actually been doing is looking around for a couple of interesting examples of how DLSS 4 doesn't handle everything perfectly.
Okay.
See the way this text kind of jitters and blurs if I move around?
Yeah. Yeah, so it's the predictive stuff. Yeah, people have been complaining about this for a while. I do think that it's improving, though. And also, keep in mind that I really wonder, because, I mean, most cameras don't record at 240 FPS, right? So, what is this really like on a PC looking at a monitor?
Move around, it's not as clear as the rest of the frame. See, it's okay if I do it, it's okay if I strafe. And I've noticed some instances of particularly bright or high contrast objects having little ghosts on them.
Okay.
With that said, I know what I'm looking for. Other reviewers are going to know what they're looking for.
Was it 30?
If I were to put one of my siblings in front of this, looks pretty good.
I think Linus is really right about this, and I think it's a huge point of contention that a lot of people that are especially like really serious. Oops! Oh wow, my chain broke. Did I lose aura now? Oh fuck. I pulled on it too hard. Oh no. Guys. Shit! Uh-oh. The buff's gone? Yeah, guys, it's over. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm going to have to go. I'm going to have to borrow a chain from Nick. Well, anyway, I've debuffed my chakra. Oh, that's real bad. And so, I think that casual players don't care or notice the blurring, and they would prefer the blurring to bad FPS. Like, I think that if you get 100 people in a room, and the way that they decide what video games they're going to play is which commercials come on in between football or basketball games, and you put all of them in a room, and you had them look at one with DLSS on versus off, I bet most of them would say that they prefer DLSS. So, like, this stuff matters. It does, but it only matters to, like, a very hardcore minority of people. And I think to the average casual Andy, they're going to think that it's great. The issue is benchmarking with it? Yeah, sure, right? Ghosting is less annoying than choppiness, sure. Yeah, exactly. And I think that smoothness is what people care about more when playing video games, even if it's artificial smoothness.
And NVIDIA was quick to point out that this is both running at lower latency and with fewer artifacts than DLSS 3.5. Enough about the 5090 that, let's face it, most people aren't going to buy. Let's talk about the rest of the family. The RTX 5070 comparison to the 4090 should be taken with a grain of salt. I mean, obviously, that's going to be with DLSS version 4.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's going to be using their new MFG, or multi-frame generation.
Multi-frame generation. So this is Far Cry, Cyberpunk, DLSS. Okay, so this is the 4070 versus the 5070. Okay.
4X. That feature is limited to 50 series cards and is powered by AI.
Wow.
And obviously, the situation might change depending on the resolution you're running. I mean, 4K needs a fair bit of VRAM. So can a few hundred more CUDA cores net such a wild performance boost, especially with so much less VRAM?
I feel like 4K, unless you're playing, like my monitor size, like what's your monitor size? Because for me, I'm at 27 inches and I don't feel comfortable going above that. I feel like with the way that I've done, like my setup, I think 27 is the, like I've been using a 27-inch monitor ever since Wrath of the Lich King. And so like I measure time in WoW expansions, or at least I used to. So like I got it at the end of Wrath, so it was probably like 2010. So yeah, I'd be looking at a 27-inch. I just don't really feel like a 1440 to 4K difference. I mean, I don't think it's going to be that big.
It's a bold claim, but with this mix of next-gen CUDA,
ultra-wide makes a difference.
Along
yeah,
with
for some games it does, like PoE.
It could very well achieve it, at least in some titles. And if it looks anywhere near as good as this does, while costing less than half of what the 4090 did at launch, well, I certainly wish that it had 16 gigs of RAM, but even without it, they are going to sell a lot of these. Not to me, you might say. I want 16 gigs of VRAM. Well, then you are going to need to take another step up to the 5070 Ti, or another step to the RTX 5080. And about these. If prices had stayed the same, I'd probably be pretty pissed off right now. But the 270 class cards they showed today are $50 less than last gen. And I don't know if that's because of competition, but
I think it's because they're probably being able, I think that, and I don't know what I'm talking about, by the way. So like, I'm just talking out of my ass. But I think that it's probably because they have to spend less time and like development on actual resources and materials, because AI makes up the difference. So like the cost of development for these things is probably cheaper. And like, that's what I'm really hoping is going to happen. Like that's my dream, because I feel like if PC gaming, I think that we only really have like maybe 3 more generations of graphics improvements to where we really start hitting human eye limitations. Am I crazy for thinking that? And then like every other innovation beyond that until we get to like some other level of like experiential, like, you know, like gameplay. And so we already have, I feel like we've already started to hit that plateau, right? With some like tech demos with Unreal. Yeah, I feel like it's basically photorealistic. Like where do you, like, how do you make a new product after that? If you're hitting the ceiling on performance, or sorry, if you're hitting the ceiling on, on performance and like visuals, then the only way that you can adapt and innovate is in like cost. It's making it cheaper, right? Or smaller. And so, with realistic effects, and that's what I'm really hoping. Better efficiency? Yeah, exactly. That's when PC gaming will really grow.
And it actually gets better. The RTX 5080, with all the other bells and whistles that we've mentioned so far, and sporting an additional 1,000 CUDA cores compared to its predecessor, is set at just $999. I say just. I know $1,000 is still really expensive, but that is down $200 from the RTX 4080, or about 16%.
That's a crazy fucking increase. Or sorry, decrease. That's nuts.
It's got next-gen everything, 1,000 more CUDA cores, more than double the AI tops, and more memory bandwidth, meaning it should deliver legitimately flagship class performance at that price, even if there does exist an even higher end card for the mega ballers out there.
Yeah.
Right alongside their new desktop GPUs, NVIDIA announced 50 series for laptops as well. They start as low as $1299 with the RTX 5070, and they are claiming 4090 performance using half of the power, and then the lineup goes all the way up to an RTX 5090.
I always wonder, like, because I don't have any data on this at all. I wonder how many people are really buying gaming laptops. Because, like, they keep making so many of them. There's got to be, like, this huge market of people buying them that I'm just not seeing. Because how is there this much innovation and development and updates on gaming laptops unless people aren't buying? They've got to be buying them like crazy, right? It's a lot bigger than you think, bro. That's the thing, right? Is like, because I feel like it's a blind spot because I don't know anybody that games on a laptop.
At $2899. By the way, if you want to see our quick first initial reactions to MSI's 50 series cards when we were under embargo and to watch us prank Colton, why don't you check out our behind the scenes video over at lmg.gg/floatplane. But wait, there's more. Jensen brought a wafer prop onto the stage to illustrate the incredible technology that's built into their NV72 AI racks. He described it as equal to 20 cars. Not 100% sure if he meant in terms of complexity with the 600,000.
There's no way that's as big as 20 cars. He wouldn't be able to fit it on his arm if it was equal to 20 car. It'd be too heavy. What are you talking about?
Parts?
No.
Or price? Either way,
fucking
each one
fake,
draws
bro.
120,000 watts, contains 130 trillion transistors, and has 1.4 exaflops FP4. But do what with it? Well, I'm not sure yet, but
Nobody
it's exciting.
knows.
And he wasn't done. Another big announcement is Cosmos, a world foundation model that's designed and created to understand the physical world. There are 3 levels of models, and they're all openly licensed and available on GitHub: Nano, Super, and Ultra. They're saying
Just reading this?
this is kind of the chat GPT moment for robots to help them interact with the real world, which is super cool and also kind of scary, especially when they brought the army
Shit!
of robots onto the stage.
Oh, shit! That's good, man. I love it.
That was cool. Anyway, the point is, you should be able to give a robot a prompt and then just watch it do the thing in the virtual world so that it can train itself virtually.
Yeah.
They did it. The Matrix.
See,
But-
dude, this is what I was saying. It's going to be illegal to drive a car in 50 or 100 years. I think that there is no universe that in at least 100 years that it is legal to drive a car. On a public road, by the way. You think 20 to 40? I don't think it's going to be that soon. I think that there's too much of a cultural demand for people to drive. Like, because some innovations, I think, will be held back by cultural... Like, I don't think Luddite is really the best way to say it, but something to that effect. People, yeah, I think there's a lot of people like driving. Like, I like driving.
It's the humans bamboozling the robots. Whew. Dodged a bullet there. Anyway, a big part of the reason for this is that when you're training something like a car, you can just do it in the real world. We're driving around with cameras all the time. We've got lots of data.
Yeah, I have
comes
this in my
to
car.
humanoid robots, it's a lot more challenging because they aren't just running around doing stuff, because if they were, it'd be extremely dangerous. So the idea with Cosmos is to take the wear and tear out of the equation, which will hopefully mean that costs can go way down in robotics development on a physical level.
Wow.
Just exactly what this is going to mean in the long term for everyone, including potentially a lot of
See, I think this is actually the reason why NVIDIA's stock is going up a lot. I don't think NVIDIA's stock ever started going up because they make really good graphics cards for video games. I think it's because of people using these cards for their functionality with AI. It dropped by 6%. Yeah. Well, yeah, I know that NVIDIA, like, I feel like, and this is the problem, is because, like, people bet the moon on NVIDIA. And so unless they announce that they've discovered, you know, a second simulated universe of God, you know, people are going to be like, oh, they're disappointed. I think this is a really big deal. Buy now. Yeah, right? A cure for cancer. Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Workers that aren't going to need to move things around anymore? Well, I guess we'll see.
Well, that's a good thing. I feel like almost nobody likes working in like an Amazon fulfillment center. Like I've heard like everybody hates those jobs. I'm sure some people enjoy it, but it's not really a fulfilling job. Like if basically like you were to give some dude, yeah, but like ask yourself the question, if there are some people that would go to their job if they maybe didn't get paid any money. Like there are people that genuinely enjoy what they do and they would do it basically for free if they got money from elsewhere. So money is the main reason why a lot of people do jobs. Like that's the reason why. It's like, well, why do you want this job? Because I'm fucking broke, bitch. That's the reason. And so it's better than no job. Yeah. Says who? Well, it says me. I mean, this is my guess, right? Fulfilling tough shit. Yeah. Well, no doubt. What I'm saying is like, I feel like replacing jobs like this, it's definitely better than replacing, I don't know, something that's like a little bit more enjoyable. And so, yeah, like warehouse stuff, I think that's good. Especially because another component to this is also risk, right? So like there's a level of risk that's involved with working at a warehouse. And so if you can sidestep that, that's a huge fucking advantage. And it's better for everybody.
There's even more. NVIDIA has announced, you guessed it, a ton of partnerships around robotics and machine vision, promising to take. NVIDIA has announced, you guessed.
Holy fuck. The only one that I recognize here right off the bat is Boston Dynamics.
It, a ton of partnerships
Vito
around robotics
AI,
and machine
yeah.
vision, promising to take the training that's happening in Cosmos and apply that to the real world. That was coupled with their new Thor AV computer, a Blackwell-based robotics processor that also has their Grace ARM CPU cores on it that can handle a ton of visual data at once, like cameras, radar, and LiDAR. They're boasting 20 times the processing power of their previous generation, which is absolutely wild. And last but not least, they included a couple allusions to the multi-trillion-dollar industries that they're going to be addressing with all of this technology. So will NVIDIA's stock price soar even higher thanks to our new robot overlords? Again,
I'm
not sure because
I'll look it up
as
after
NVIDIA
this.
Carefully noted, all of these are forward-looking statements and can't be taken as pure fact. Finally, last but not least,
I think that they're inevitable. I think that their insight into what's happening and like where things are going to go, I think they're on point. I do.
Surprised everyone, including Nintendo, by announcing the Switch 2. I'm kidding. I know that didn't happen. Anyway, that's it.
Yeah.
The nearly 2-hour keynote ended, and
The Switch 2 is going to be able to run frame rates up to 30. It's going to be it's able to get up to 30 FPS.
Enough time after trying the RTX 5090
Playing a Super Nintendo game.
Give you this segue to our sponsor, Wicked Cushions. Are your headphones looking a little old and busted?
The 35,
Bring back
yeah.
that new headphone hotness with Wicked Cushions.
I'll pull up their
replacement
stock and
ear
we'll
pads.
look and
It
see.
takes just 5 minutes to get your headphones looking like they just came out of the box. But maybe that's not your style. Maybe you're more of a Speed Racer Cyan kind of guy, or an Orange Prism gal. Well, Wicked Cushions has you covered with more than a dozen great looks to choose from to make your headset stand out from the rest.
You have them be all
Check out
purple?
the link in the video description box to find the Wicked Cushions that are right for you. If you guys enjoyed this video, thank you for watching. Check out the rest of our CES coverage. Maybe the AMD announcement. Oh, gotta go.
Nope. Yeah, I was actually pretty good. Well, let me see where their stock is at now. This is a good video, man. Like it is. I do think that like probably the best point that Linus brought up inside of this entire video is the fact that normies don't give a fuck. I don't think normies actually give a fuck about frame generation at all. So like there's a lot of like serious people that are like, you know, really invested in like kind of you know, like PC gaming, etc. Like that one guy that like we've watched some of his videos on like how AAA devs are cutting corners with like optimization and like photorealism graphics. That guy is like a 1% of a 1%. And I think that the people that care at all are just a 1%. It's a super, yeah, normies just want bigger numbers. Exactly.